Hi guys, Super Cameraman here. The long-awaited 25th season has recently been released, and it has exceeded all the expectations of the viewers, and its length is 50 minutes, including 7 additional scenes, each of which is extremely important to the plot. Today we'll have to figure out what glitches Camerawoman saw at the beginning of the season, why the agents failed to recover Plunger Man, whether Astro Juggernaut will defect to the Alliance, and whether the Skibidi Toilets will agree to an alliance. You'll find out all that and more in this analysis, but before you start, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and if you already have, here we go. The season starts off with an extra scene that takes us back to Camerawoman's past. We see interference on the camera, and then Dave, aka Plunger Man, comes up to us. He calls Cameraman by name, after which she tries to get up, but then we see that Dave disappears, and Cameraman is surrounded by Cameraman engineers. From this, we can understand that this fragment is not so much the past as a glitch of Camerawoman, which is explained by the fact that Camerawoman still misses Plunger Man, which is why she is hallucinating with him. We hear Dave's voice over the frame telling us that something terrible has happened. He's most likely referring to the very day of the disaster when Alpha Hills was attacked by the Skibidi Toilets, when Plunger Man and Camerawoman were still human. The Cameraman engineers disappear from sight, whereupon Dave appeals to Cameraman Woman that they need to get out as soon as possible. Camerawoman goes to the door with the sparking lock, but then the camera cuts off and Dave and Camerawoman continue their dialogue. When Camerawoman asks Dave about some grand experiment, he says that the whole system is overloaded and there could only be one reason for it, but Dave doesn't say what that reason is. The camera pans back on, and we see Dave using his crowbar to break down the door to get out. As they both step out into the hallway, a siren is heard, and we also see an unidentifiable object and blood underneath it. Most likely a man was standing in this place, and the object thrown by the blast wave hit him, killing him in the process. Further down the corridor, we notice papers and folders with something illegible written on them, probably records of an experiment that was conducted in this lab. Peeking around the corner, Camerawoman, finding nothing, asks Dave, "Where is everyone?" To which he replies that they are either gone or trapped in the depths of the lab. This is when we hear some kind of scream, which most likely belongs to either Skibidi Toilet or the person mutating into him. Dave reveals that the other part of the lab is still energized and suggests that Camerawoman look for the others and contact the people upstairs, while Dave himself is going to check out the test chamber and find out what happened after all. Dave picks up the second crowbar, holding them just like Plunger Man, and is about to go deep into the lab, but Camerawoman stops him, asking him to be more prudent. But Dave doesn't care because his job is to save as many people as possible, and then goes deep into the lab, just like Plunger Man in episode 50 when he went after a huge crowd of Skibidi Toilets. Camerawoman starts to get worried, but Dave manages to reassure her that he'll be fine. The picture then fades out, and we see the cameraman, led by the cameraman detective, rolling Plunger Man's body on a cart, while the rest of the cameramen sit sad and depressed, with a camera off sign on the TV. In the next shot, we are standing in the laboratory on behalf of Cameraman the scientist, where full preparations are underway to try to resurrect Plunger Man. The tentacles connect to him and begin to interact, and we see Plunger Man's body begin to spark with green sparks. The exact same sparks he had when the secret agent decided to destroy Plunger Man in episode 70. Plunger Man could not be resurrected because something prevented it, most likely the secret agent's defense tool, which he apparently inserted into Plunger Man's body before his death so that he could not be brought back to life. The system overheats and fails, and Detective Cameraman goes somewhere. On the doorstep, we see Camerawoman, but her appearance is different from what we saw in Part 2, Episode 77. This is most likely due to the fact that the events of this extra scene take place between Episode 76 and 77. The door closes, after which we are transported to the base of the TV Mans. On the wall hangs a huge TV, which shows the broadcast of the already disabled camera. Most likely this TV is connected to Titan Cameraman, and there are 2 possibilities why his camera stopped broadcasting. The first of them is that he could have been captured by Astro Toilets, but it is unlikely because from the words of Astro UFOs, we know that the entire squad pursuing him disappeared without a trace, and then we can smoothly move to the second option. Its essence is that Titan Cameraman was helped by the secret agent. Why him? We all remember that as soon as any of the cameramen noticed the secret agent, or even the slightest hint of him, he immediately cut off their broadcast, so that no one but the cameraman himself could see anything. It could be an identical situation here, however, why would the secret agent need Titan Cameraman? Next, we see a wounded Titan speakerman reaching for the screen in desperation, but the TV man Titan yells at him to calm down and then teleports away, leaving Titan speakerman alone. This scene shows that Titan speakerman, despite his injuries, still wants to fight. We can also see that he is still not improved, because this event was right after episode 74. The next extra scene is unremarkable, as Astro Fighter arrives and destroys a barely alive cameraman. Next, we are shown episode 75, which Defuk has drastically improved and tweaked to make it look better. The differences include how exactly the mutants and Skibidi toilets got into the warehouse, and Astro Juggernaut's son became more elaborate, and he even got a tail on the back, as well as learning to talk, albeit unintelligibly. I made a separate video where I showed all the changes of Season 25. The video is already on the channel. The next extra scene shows us the people we last saw in the full 73 episode. They have most likely already been evacuated to the cameraman base where they are now. Here we see Skibidi Woman Mutant's sister, who tells us that her sister was in the National Guard when the Skibidi virus started. She tried to find her in Alpha Hills, but she was unsuccessful, and she doesn't know if she's even alive. A girl and cameraman are sitting to the right. The latter is trying to drink coffee, but due to the lack of a mouth, he can't do it. To the right, we see the cook cameraman, who is serving food to one of the survivors, but the man doesn't like his food, so he insults the cook and asks him to let him cook his own food. In the next shot, the survivor jokes that the last time he tried to use the restroom, it almost killed him. The cameraman looks thoughtfully at the plunger, and the survivor doesn't understand why he was so confused by the plunger. Most likely, cameraman just misses plunger man. Our cameraman moves on. On the left, we notice a few more survivors in front of cameraman who is keeping order, and on the right, the scientist who was washing up. Out of nowhere comes TV Man the Scientist and the same red speakerman we saw in episode 74 in captivity. Speakerman hands the scientist a strange device. He puts it on his TV and starts talking without a revolver. This fragment is a small reference to the Skibidi Saga multiverse from Max CD. In case anyone doesn't know, it's where the TV Mans also started speaking normal speech after one of them was kidnapped by the Skibidi toilets and stuffed with all kinds of technology. The TV Man scientist asks who worked at Alpha Hills, and the hand is raised by the scientist who washed up. The scientist asks him to come over, but Detective Cameraman appears from around the corner and immediately grabs the scientist by the shoulder. TV Man Scientist tells him to know his place, to which the detective rudely responds with a gesture of silence, provoking TV Man Scientist to push him against the wall. But the detective is not so simple. He points a gun at TV Man Scientist's screen and he lets him go, not wanting to continue the conflict. The scientist asks the cameraman on duty if he has analyzed all the survivors, to which he nods in the affirmative. TV Man points his finger in the corner and asks what it is. There we see the same infected we saw before in episode 74 with a group of human survivors. After dodging a couple of shots, he informs us that he has come to speak for his people, the Skibidi toilets, and offers to unite to eventually defeat the Astro toilets, because as we know, the TV men didn't want to agree to an alliance with the Skibidi toilets until the end. TV Man the Scientist replies nothing, and the scene ends. Next, we are shown the events from episode 66, when Skibidi toilets and the alliance fought each other, after which we are shown the same scene that Defuk showed a month ago in the form of a troll flick. We watch all of this on behalf of Lucky Cameraman, who is attacked by Skibidi Spider, but now he's not in the form of Nemi, but a regular Skibidi toilet. The secret agent helps us by saying that his technology was stolen by the Skibidi toilets, which makes him very angry, but he believes that the Alliance will be able to break through the defenses and get the technology back. This all turns out to be a memory of Lucky Cameraman, who was being interrogated by the detective at the time. He is called out next and is forced to leave Lucky Cameraman with the guards. The next additional scene shows us the continuation of the Astro Juggernaut and G-Man 5.0 battle that they failed failed to finish in episode 77. The two, locked in a fight, fall to the ground, and the Juggernaut, clearly angry, tries to do some damage to G-Man, but G-Man doesn't want to fight him at all, because they used to conquer worlds together and were almost like brothers to each other, while to Astro Toilets, he was no more than a pawn. G-Man wants Astro Juggernaut to join him, but he still can't forgive the death of his child, who was killed in episode 75, and starts attacking G-Man furiously. The latter doesn't like this behavior, so he pins Astro Juggernaut to the ground and gives him powerful blows, not letting him get up. G-Man disappears somewhere but continues to have a dialogue with Juggernaut and says he understands him, after which he comes back and asks him again to join his army to definitely defeat Astro Toilets together, and even swears. Juggernaut is still reluctant to join, explaining that one of the Titans is under the influence of the Astro Toilets, and also asks if G-Man has done everything necessary. The Titan G-Man says that Astro Toilets won't be able to find him, thus provoking the Juggernaut, who tries to hit him again, but G-Man has activated the intangible mode, which will prevent anyone from damaging him or even touching him. He then says something about having a secret weapon ready, and when it shows itself, Astro Juggernaut better be on his side if he doesn't want his children orphaned, then teleports away. Astro UFO and Astro Carrier arrive on the grounds. Astro UFO asks Juggernaut in a rage where G-Man is, to which he replies that he flew away. UFO remarks that Astro Juggernaut has already let him down twice, and if he lets him down again, he'll be in trouble. Astro UFO also reports that soon there will be no place left on Earth for G-Man to hide, and orders Astro Juggernaut to return to Mazar Spike for repairs, whereupon he notices the Cameraman and orders him to destroy the place and flies away. Astro Juggernaut, having noticed the Cameraman, also flies away, and Astro Carrier and Astro Fighter destroy the area. But then our Cameraman is approached first by a red car, then by a ficus, then by a chair, and then by a girl. We have seen all of these items before, such as the car in episode 65, the ficus in episode 76, and the chair in episode 75. After that, we are transported to another reality, and a sign appears at the top that says, "Welcome to the family." Most likely, the secret agent instructed this girl to take this Cameraman to also go into his service and help in the war against the Astro Toilets. Based on all the additional scenes, it's clear that Astro Juggernaut may betray his allies and defect to the Alliance and Skibidi Toilets, and this will most likely happen in episode 80, which Defuk says should be epic and exciting. It's also clear that the scientist needs a colleague, and that's why he called the scientist who worked in Alpha Hills with him. And finally, it is clear that Plungerman will not be brought back to life, because the secret agent has implanted a chip in him, which does not allow to resurrect him, and also we were finally shown who is hiding under the mask of a chair and a ficus. While you were watching this video, I was simultaneously preparing for you a detailed analysis of all the scenes of Skibidi Toilet Season 25, so don't forget to click on the bell not to miss this video. I'm Super Cameraman. See you very soon. Bye, everyone.